Returning now to one of our top stories, Penny Wong will visit China, meeting her counterpart Wang Yi on Wednesday on the 50th anniversary of Australia-China relations. Joining me now live is National Senator Matt Canavan. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So, what do you believe needs to come out of this meeting?
Well, I think we've got to be careful not to set too high expectations here. You've always got to be wary of foreigners bearing gifts. It might be an empty package. I mean, there's no real delivery at this stage of any change to the illegal sanctions that the Chinese government placed on Australian exporters a few years ago. We should never forget that we're in this position right now, and we're all reporting this amazing news that someone from the government is travelling to China, because a few years ago the Chinese government issued our government, our sovereign, democratically elected government, a list of 14 demands that they wanted done, or else. And the or else ended up being, as I said, those illegal trade sanctions. So that's where we are today, and we haven't really moved one iota apart from some meetings yet. So I don't necessarily, I'm not going to be holding my breath. I just hope that the new government does not give any ground on those 14 demands. There should be no quid pro quo. That would be a very dangerous precedent for our country, to allow another nation to threaten, bully us, to change our policies. And more importantly, what we really need to do, which I see less of from the new government, what we really need to do is diversify away from China. It's not safe to do business in China anymore, given their conduct in the last few years, and no meeting is going to change that record. We have too much of our trade and business reliant on one country. We should be doing more to diversify away from China and find other markets.
It has been years of icy relations, but how much credit, though, do you give the Albanese government for actually making this meeting happen, and even on the sidelines of the G20?
Well, I think it's very important here not to politicise foreign affairs. I mean, I as part of the Morrison government, I'm sure if China, even during the deep freeze of our relationship, offered us to travel to China, we would have done so, because we would have met with other countries, as we always do. So as I say, this is not really any progress just yet. I think it's very important we don't let China or any other nation play us off against each other for political purposes. You can see China trying to do this here. They're trying to set up as somehow the Liberal National Party in Australia is the big bad wolf, and the Labor Party as the nice compliant sheep. Now, I don't think we should play that game that China's trying to divide us about. I give credit to the fact that the new government has not acceded to any of these 14 demands. I just hope, as a member of the opposition, I'm holding them to account to make sure they don't give any ground on that stuff. And as I say, all governments, including my former government, we need to do more. We need to do more then, we need to do more now to diversify away from China and find other places to do business with us, other friends that aren't going to threaten and bully and cajole us like China has.
I want to ask you about a number of businesses today, including Telstra and Woodside. They're offering employees an opportunity to skip Australia Day. And we know yesterday Channel 10 reportedly told their staff it's not a day to celebrate. Should employees be given the choice?
Well, I don't think you should be given a choice, so to speak. I think if you don't want to celebrate Australia Day, work and don't get another day off. I mean, if you're not grateful for being Australian and all the bounty and wonderful country we have, then don't take a day off at all, because our history is our history. I mean, if you're that ashamed about our nation, the settlement of our nation by European settlers, don't take a day off at all. Because these calls, keep in mind, I don't see too many Aboriginal leaders or elders, and it's not something that comes up to me when I meet with Aboriginal groups and communities about Australia Day. This seems to be the priority of a small clique of woke, morally guilt-ridden white individuals in our major inner cities who feel like this is their latest way to signal their virtue to the rest of us. Aren't we so virtuous because we're taking a stand here? We're not going to. We'll work on the 26th of January, but apparently they'll just take another day off, which is more flexible, presumably a Monday or a Friday, and give themselves a long weekend. I just think, Danica, the one thing that we could show more of in modern society generally, but certainly as Australians, is just to be thankful. We are so lucky to live in this country at this time in history. compare ourselves to any other human being almost anywhere in the world or any other time. We're very, very lucky. Now, at least we have this Christmas idea. We generally unite around Christmas. We should be grateful for that. It gives hope and promise to all. And as I say, let's just have one day where we say thanks. We're not perfect, but we're very, very lucky to be Australian.
Matt Canavan, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Anika.